My name is Lily, and I am a filmmaker with a recently acquired bachelor's degree in motion pictures. One of my many passions is analyzing TV shows and movies to death about very specific things and making people listen to me talk about it. Today, I want to tell you about my most recent obsession, a wonderful little Netflix show called Heartstopper. More specifically, I want to talk about the primary filming location of Heartstopper, Herne Bay. And before I dive headfirst into this, there are lots of spoilers ahead. So go binge the show over a weekend like I did and come back. You'll appreciate it more. Heartstopper is a coming-of-age story about falling in love for the first time, so the tone stays very joyful and lovely for a majority of the show. In order to keep that feeling true to what writer Alice Oseman had intended, they chose to film in the small town of Herne Bay.
Wasn't that obvious?
While there are a few locations outside of the town that were used, they weren't as prominently featured in the show, which is why today we'll mostly be focusing on the locations filmed there. Herne Bay is a seaside town on the northern coast of Kent, England, that was established in the 1800s as a small shipping community. The town has a very quaint quality to it that feels similar to anyone else's hometown. With its slow-paced culture and scenic views, it feels like the perfect place for a love story. It's insular and self-contained, which contributes to the show's tone and aesthetic. Herne Bay visually gives the show a warm and comfortable feeling through its Victorian-style facades and dynamic filming locations. While the art department of Heartstopper did a phenomenal job transforming Herne Bay High School into Truro Grammar School for boys, they also built a few sets there, including Nick and Charlie's bedrooms. The school corridors are filled with turquoise, blue, and yellow from Alice Oseman's original color palette from the graphic novels, invoking feelings of warmth and calmness. Since this is where a lot of the story takes place, it's important to notice how much it adds to it. Herne Bay High has wide, colorful corridors, dynamic classrooms, and perfect outdoor spaces for the characters to hang out. It gives the story room to breathe, and the characters plenty of places to explore. The art room becomes a sanctuary for Charlie when his practice room becomes unsafe from Ben-Ho. This room alone is a very tangible representation of every queer person's safe space, whether that's a person or a real place. It's full of color, and even comes with its own queer mentor.
So everything's okay.
We get many scenes of Harry tormenting Charlie and Tao, both outside the front of the school and during lunch, which eventually escalates to a full fistfight between Tao and Harry. This can be very symbolic of coming out. Being inside is safe and comfortable, while being outside can be intimidating and dangerous. Although in the last episode, we get a nice sense of closure to this idea in the sports day scenes. Charlie stands up for himself against Ben, resolves his conflict with Tao, and Nick leaves the rugby match in order to confess his love to Charlie, also risking everyone finding out about their relationship in the process. Needless to say, the school has a lot of significance in the show. In comparing Nick and Charlie's houses, they visually appear very different. Charlie's house is in a neighborhood of Herne Bay that features a Victorian architectural style, which feels representative of Charlie, in the sense that it's been through a lot. There are some rough edges and places that need fixing, but it's dependable, and still full of life. The interior of Charlie's home is made to be cozy and charming, especially in the scene where Nick almost holds Charlie's hand. Those large windows letting in golden hour, a movie, and a warm blanket on a winter evening. The house transforms for them in their own little world, versus when Charlie is alone, like he is in the kitchen after breaking up with Ben the night before. It's much more open, but in a way that makes Charlie seem small. Charlie's bedroom, however, is full of personality. It showcases the inner confidence that Alice Oseman speaks about in his character. This trait is something that only Charlie's friends see. His bedroom expresses his personality more confidently than he may feel he's able to at school. Each of these elements contribute to the heartwarming tone of the show and reveal Charlie's inner world. Nick's neighborhood is much more modern in style, which has its own sense of familiarity and comfort. It also feels very sturdy, stable, and bright, like Nick, compared to the Victorian-style houses in Charlie's neighborhood.
Do I?
The rest of the house is very colorful and welcoming, which gives us a good idea of the atmosphere that influences Nick's character. The space is more open physically than Charlie's house. This allows more room for Nick to be more open emotionally with his mom in the scene where he gets her advice about his date with Imogen, and when he eventually comes out to her.
Oh, I love you.
His bedroom in the second episode shows us what Nick knows about himself and how he defines himself. He's the rugby king. He's straightforward.
Definitely gay.
And he's humble.
Can I have the ball
But
back?
we don't see a lot of nuance to that. Throughout the show, we watch him grow and question not only his sexuality, but who he is as a person versus who he becomes when he's around certain people. I wonder if next time we see Nick's bedroom, we'll see his character growth reflected there more. One of the more obscure locations they filmed in was Hollywood Bowl. This location was actually filmed in High Wycombe, which is not even remotely in Kent, let alone Herne Bay. And since I'm specifically focusing on Herne Bay, I unfortunately have to skip this one. Though I am just obsessed with this shot right here. So I'm just gonna keep talking so that I have an excuse to have it in. I mean, come on, there's so much to look at. The bisexual lighting, the softness of the background, and that circular thing on the ceiling. It's almost like they were trying to give Nick a halo, which I think is just brilliant for this specific conversation with Tao. Anyway, lastly, I want to talk about my favorite location in Herne Bay. At the very end of the last episode, we get a wonderful montage and a few scenes at the town center, the pier, and the beach. This is the truest visualization of queer joy that this story is meant to convey. The fun and childlike wonder of the pier allows Nick and Charlie the freedom to be in love and be fully themselves without the judgment of their peers. The beach is where everything falls into place.
I'm definitely bisexual.
Nick has fully come to terms with his sexuality. He and Charlie make their relationship official, and they decide to start telling more people about it. This is truly the happiest they've ever been. I like to think that the sea and the open horizon in front of them represents their future together, full of hope and possibility. Herne Bay serves the story of Heartstopper in many ways. In a practical sense, it already contained the most prominent locations that were featured in Alice Oseman's graphic novels. They even had the ability to build multiple sets in the high school. It also adds to the tone, provides insight into the characters and their lives beyond the script, and brings character in itself to the show. This small town provides a sense of closeness and unity that we can also see develop in the characters of Heartstopper, which is one of many symbols that can be seen through more specific locations like the beach. Now I hope you can see why I've been so enamored with where they decided to film Heartstopper. I can't wait to see where they go in Season 2. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed my deep dive into this topic. All of my sources are cited in the description below if you want to check them out. Like and subscribe for more. Who knows, I might go crazy and rewatch Heartstopper for the 5th time to find something else to analyze it for. I'll see you next time.
Bye. Bye.